2025, the current year, no question, the most important in Tesla's history. First Robotaxis launching, multiple new, more affordable vehicles entering production, the global launch of the Model Y, the refresh already underway, full speed ahead on the Optimus humanoid robot. Tesla's aggressive investments in AI about to bear fruits, a new hypergrowth stage, the foundation of which has been built over the preceding years, and an incredible environment in the United States in particular, job-friendly, manufacturing-friendly, growth-friendly, technological dominance-friendly, the perfect setup for an epic 4-year run starting now. But, and this is a big but, at the exact same time Tesla's epic 4+ year run begins, the hate-stream media, whose viewership collectively is plunging off a cliff and who in general lean heavily to the political left, will be furiously and aggressively attacking anything at all to do with the current Trump administration and by proxy, Elon Musk. The divergence between reality and the narrative about Tesla is likely to reach all-time highs. Case in point, you guys remember the class clown, Mr. Humiliation Fetish himself, right? Well, he has officially been replaced. There's a new clown in town, and I think the key difference here is Gordon didn't really believe what he was saying. I'm just, hypothetically, he may have just been preying on extremely low IQ Elon haters selling bearish research, full well knowing it was a load of shit just to have a captive audience. I'm hypothetical, I'm not actually suggesting that's true, of course, but I think in this particular case, this guy may have just gone full retard and actually believe what he says. Move over, Gordon. There's a new clown in town.
Let's get some more perspective from an investor on some of the big tech earnings that have crossed. We want to bring in now Ross Gerber. He is co-founder and president and CEO of Gerber Kawasaki. Ross, always a pleasure to speak with you. I know that you look at Tesla very carefully, and the results are out. And I know that the stock has moved independent of what the company has told us about its the sales of its EVs. But I do want to get your take on the gross margin number that came in for the fourth quarter. Automotive gross margin, when you back out the regulatory credit, was 13.6%. Is this enough to move the stock in for those who are fundamentally focused on Tesla?
Well, I think this is actually a bad number, right? I mean, gross margins continue to decline even after all the layoffs and stuff last quarter where they got the benefit of higher margins because of that. Now margins are continuing to decline because they're having trouble selling cars for obvious reasons. And so, you know, it's really a game for Tesla of like they can manufacture actually a lot more cars than they're selling, so they just hold back, and then they have to do pretty much every demand lever possible to get rid of the vehicles. And so that's, we're seeing it in the numbers. And you know, once again, I'm not surprised by it. Mm-hmm. They don't advertise, and the only advertising they have is Elon.
Right. Well, he's a pretty effective advertiser, we got to say. Ross,
not for cars.
Not for cars, Trump. For other things. Yeah.
You can almost see the pain in Ross's vagina as he discusses Trump. I do again want to remind people that don't live in a tiny bubble in California where all three of their neighbours think that Orange Man bad and therefore Elon bad, that Trump won the popular vote, swept every swing state, had a crushing victory in the recent presidential election, and Elon Musk strongly endorsed him at a time where it was a great risk and the outcome of the election was unknown and uncertain. Obviously in Ross's neighbourhood, which he personally saved apparently. Thank you for being a hero, Ross. If you know, you know. Maybe his neighbours can't pull themselves out of the bubble, but has the thought occurred to Ross and his three neighbours that given the fact that Musk endorsed the man who had a crushing victory in the presidential election, that many people who formerly would never have considered purchasing an electric vehicle, let alone a Tesla, now have Tesla's vehicles on their radar? Is this possible?
Yes. Well, I mean, at some point, does the tide turn on Elon Musk and the gains that we've seen in the stock, up 55% since the election, up 83% since the last earnings, start to drive down the stock in a way that's, again, divorced from fundamentals of the vehicle business?
Well, once again, the stock is actually down over the last 3 years. So when you look at it from 3 years ago, we haven't made any money in Tesla. And at that point, they were...
Hang on. We haven't made any money in Tesla as in... Does he mean we as in the GK ETF? Isn't this an actively managed ETF? I mean, it literally says on the website. So it shouldn't really matter if you can find a high point 3 years ago and the stock's slightly down from that high point. If you're actively managing, if the stock's been bouncing around during that time, surely since people are paying you to actively manage their capital, you would have been able to make some money on Tesla, right? Like, for example, when the stock shit the fucking bed and made no sense near 3-year lows, you might have been loading up, right? A little bit confused here. Let's see here. So I've just searched for the GK ETF here. Looking at the all-time results since inception, down over 12%, all the way back to July 2021 when it launched. So now looking at the S&P 500, I guess a decent benchmark obviously, if you're paying somebody to actively manage your money, you'd expect that they'd be outperforming. Otherwise, you could have just bought the fucking S&P 500, right? So let's have a look here. Was it July 21? So up about nearly 40%. Wait, versus down about... So it's about a 50% difference. So let me just look at Tesla then over the last 5 years. I mean, been a lot of volatility. I guess Ross is referring to this point here where you've made no money because Tesla's still technically down, what, $3 from that all-time high closing price. But if you're actively managing money, I mean, Tesla's like $113 a share. Isn't this when you look buy? Because if you had, you'd be up 257%, absolutely crushing the S&P over that period of time. Ooh, I don't understand. How do you're actively managing money. How do you not, when it's $147 in April 24, not be loading up 175% since? I'm a little bit confused. I'm not really confused, it's just retarded and emotional. But anyway, let's pretend that I don't know what's going on here and I'm totally confused as to how you could be actively managing people's money and have not made any money in Tesla since 2021, given the extreme volatility and multiple buying opportunities along the way. Let me just have a quick look at the fund holdings. Maybe this will explain. By portfolio 8, we've got Netflix, Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Disney. No Tesla here. Let's keep going. Still no Tesla. Maybe on page 3. Oh, here we go. They have currently 650 shares of Tesla stock. Now, I don't want to kick a sausage wallet when they're down, but I'm going to. You guys remember this, right? April 23rd, 2024, Tesla Boomer Mama posted this. Showed the number of Tesla shares held by the GK ETF and a couple of others, keeping in mind this does include ARK Invest, but that's based on the numbers on the right, given the fact that ARK Invest owns easily orders of magnitude more Tesla stock. But on the left, in orange, we have the GK ETF Tesla holdings. We just saw they have 650 shares of Tesla stock as of today or yesterday. But hang on, in early 2023, they had over 8,000 shares of Tesla stock. Meaning they sold almost all of their Tesla stock between early 2023 and April 2024. So you're telling me between early 2023 and April 2024, during this period, when I was buying hand over fist, they were dumping their Tesla stock. Wow. Talk about a high IQ decision there. But hey, who could possibly have identified that period of time as a buying opportunity as opposed to a panic selling opportunity? So let's see what this guy who was reposting this said in April 2024, with Tesla stock about $160-ish per share, now up over 140% since. This guy said, over this period, I've added about as many Tesla shares as the GK ETF has sold from its peak of 8,000 shares to around 1,000, and now, as we know, it's 650 shares. I think this guy might have been trolling, but he then went on to say, of course, I'm just a dumb YouTuber with a bad haircut, can confirm, who doesn't wear a suit and will deeply regret this decision in 5, 10, 15 and 20 years. Robotaxi, schmobotaxi. And I think he continues to troll and mean the opposite of what he said. Wait, what's this? Oh, I see. That guy added to this chart his Tesla holdings, roughly to scale, over the same period of time that GK peaked at 8,000 and then dumped. He just, looks like he just kept buying with every spare cent. Long detour, but I thought, you know what? Given the fact that this guy's just disclosed that we haven't made any money in Tesla stock for 3 years, just trying to figure out how that would be possible if you're actively managing an ETF. Surely there's been some opportunities to buy when the stock was shitting the bed. Lots of them, actually. It takes real skill not to have made any money on Tesla if you are actively managing, not just holding, right? If you're holding, I understand. If the stock's technically gone nowhere, you haven't made or lost any money. But if you're actively managing, if people are paying you to manage their capital, and you somehow weren't loading up the boat when Tesla was $113 a share, $145 a share, like, what? I'd almost think that this person, or the people managing this money, weren't particularly competent custodians of other people's capital.
They were expected to do $4 in earnings, and it traded at 100 times earnings in 2021. So we were at $400 a share. Today we're at $376 a share with $2.46 in earnings. So when you actually look at Tesla's financial performance over the last 3 years, it's been horrible. And so this is a growth company at a huge multiple that isn't growing. So what's going to get it to grow? That's the big question.
Well, I am curious, just beyond.
Hey, that is actually a good question. What is going to get it to grow? Let's see. The new, more affordable models, keyword models, entering production first half of this year. The refreshed Model Y having launched globally. A vastly superior product for a comparable price to the prior Model Y, which is literally the world's best-selling vehicle. Perhaps the launch of FSD in Europe and China. All this stuff disclosed in their Q4 and 2024 earnings report / call. And then possibly the big one, the Robotaxi is launching in Austin in middle of this year. I mean, call me crazy, but I think those may drive a little bit of growth. No pun intended. And then, of course, there is the Optimus humanoid robot which, as Musk pointed out on the earnings call, over the long term, that product line alone could be bringing in $10+ trillion of annual revenue, roughly a 100x from where Tesla is today. Call me crazy, but I think 100x in revenue would be considered pretty decent growth. So good questions asked by Ross. I'm just not sure if he knows the answer. Looks a little bit sad at the moment too. Is everything okay, Ross?
On just building cars. I mean, there was this whole narrative, or at least really a whole model into the thesis, the bull market thesis of Tesla, that it was more than just a car company, that some of the technology components, AI, autonomous driving, blah, 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 all this sort of is what gave it such a higher valuation relative to a GM or Ford. It was a tech company. Is it still a tech company? And if so, when can we see them actually leverage some of that into real growth?
I mean, there's no question that it's a tech company in the sense of its focus really is on software and developing software for robots and autonomous vehicles.
I have to give some credit here. This is true.
But their core business is selling cars and energy storage and charging. And that's what Tesla was founded. His mission is to advance sustainable transportation and energy, and that they were doing a wonderful job before they pivoted into a bunch of businesses that we're not sure how they're going to be, which is robotics and cybercabs. So
not sure if I'm understanding, but is Ross implying that he would have preferred if Tesla just kept making premium electric vehicles, didn't pursue opportunities in industries multiple orders of magnitude larger than selling vehicles to consumers? A little bit puzzled here.
And that's not coming anytime soon either. So
wait. Did he just imply that autonomous vehicles not coming anytime soon? In Ross's defense, he probably went to air before he'd heard that first Robotaxis launch in Austin middle of this year.
I just come kind of like asking the question of like, where does the growth come from over the next several years?
So I answered that already, right? More affordable vehicles, refreshed by hard Robotaxis launching, humanoid robot ramping up. What am I missing here?
Until these technologies work. I use full self-driving every day, and now I see Waymos every day all around me driving perfectly fine, and my car still can't do it. So I don't care how many times Elon says that it's going to work this year, and this is the year of full self-driving. It's just a bunch of crap at this point. It doesn't work. It still doesn't work. So it works pretty good. I like it, but it's driver assist. That's where we're at still.
Tell you what, man, Trump derangement syndrome is one hell of a drug. Never go full goober. Poor guy. Now, the bigger point in today's video was just to set the expectations, what you guys are going to see in the mainstream media, including the finance media, relating to Tesla over the next few years. Make no mistake, given the fact that most mainstream media outlets lean heavily to the left, their appetite for people who've gone right off the fucking deep end, we now believe that Elon bad because Orange Man bad, and Elon bad helped Orange Man bad become the POTUS to catalyze an era of safety, opportunity, and prosperity in the United States, which will ripple around the world. Some people don't like that. So believe me, every opportunity the mainstream media have to invite a clown, somebody suffering from EDS, TDS, to talk shit about Tesla, to downplay what they're doing, they'll be all the fuck over it. As I said at the beginning of this video, there's going to be a massive divergence between narrative and reality. It's pretty wild to hear somebody appear in the media early in 2025 and talk about Tesla and say words to the effect of, where is the growth going to come from over the next few years? This question is quite easy to answer. It's wild that someone would ask that. Yet here we are. Anyway, just in conclusion, I'd like to congratulate Ross and the folks managing the GK ETF for its phenomenal performance since inception. S&P's only outperformed it by about 50% over that time frame. But don't worry, I'm sure that they'll catch up over the next few years by making sound investment decisions that aren't at all driven by emotions. Meanwhile, I continue to buy Tesla stock with every spare cent because I'm looking out into the future and I can actually see where the growth is going to come from, and there's a whole fuck ton of it around the corner. Wow. Want more content? Early access? A bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed full of vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients. Plus, has prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to improve gut health, regularity, and help your body handle stress. I'm always looking for an edge to help me feel and perform my best, which is why I haven't missed a day of AG1 for more than 3 years. Just try it and see how you feel. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. This is what viewers of the channel had to say after trying AG1. I feel like I have a lot more energy since I started on AG1. Just got my AG1 in the mail. Legit feeling the effects after day 3. 3 months ago, I started AG1 and have been enjoying the evenness of alertness and energy that lasts the day. I just started the wife on it too. Are you convinced yet? I mean, hey, it's worth trying, right? Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, or I can keep going. This viewer, after about a month on AG1, definitely a lack of fatigue in the afternoon. Pleasant side effect is that my coffee intake has imploded and is almost down to 0. One more? Yeah, why not? I honestly feel younger and will be continuing to use AG1. This stuff really is crazy good. I didn't think it would be, but this stuff is awesome. It really is what everyone is saying. One more? Don't mind if I do. I've just received my 3rd month supply. I've drank it every day. I have so much energy throughout most of the day. I'm productive, started a new business, started socializing, refurbished a boat. It's no coincidence. Thank you for your persistence, your integrity, and your insights. Now look, these are not my words. These are not my testimonials. This is what you guys and girls are saying. Maybe it's 100% placebo effect. But even if that's the case, I think it's money well spent. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs.